Today guys, we're going to be using the youth to gold method to bring the glory days back to Sunderland. That's right, the Black Cats, the Mackhams, the 8th most successful club in the history of the English game, winning 6 league titles, 2 FA Cups and a bunch of championship medals too, which is where we start. So the rules are, I can't sign anybody over 20, and after season 1 we can't have anybody over 30. And we're going to see how long it takes us to win the Champions League. That is the ultimate goal, and we're going to make the Mackhams a super club. Let's dive into day 1. First off, we're going to have to sort out the staff like we do with every save, because these attributes are not really doing it for me. Luckily, we're allowed 7 scouts, which is pretty good for the championship, because we're going to need all the help we can get in this youth to gold method. The more scouts, the better. And of course, we're going to be searching for wonder kids, so we're going to take this minimum current ability right down. Potential ability up to 4. We're going to change the age range to 19. We're going to choose the area that we want to go to. So in this instance, we're going to go to Eastern Europe. We're going to set that up, ongoing, job done. Next job was settling on a formation, so we've gone for a 4-3-3 and we've got a couple of variations of it. I've made one signing, which is this guy. I'm really pleased with this signing because he's already a leading championship player and he's 18, so it's junior Krupi. The only problem, and there is a problem, is that we've got this minimum fee of 16.75, which is not great. You know, we'll just have to deal with that when it comes to it. We've signed him for 5.25 all told, and if we do sell him, we're going to 3x on that, so it's not too bad. After a quick board meeting to get a few more scouts in the door, we headed to the first game, and we had Norwich. The board were expecting a draw, and we smashed them 9-1. Patrick Roberts pulled out the performance of his life with a 10.0, scoring 4 goals in this match, 4 goals, and new signing Krupi got himself a hat-trick. Safe to say, I felt pretty positive about the season coming up. We got off to a great start to the season, winning 5 out of the first 7 fixtures. Then we had a little bit of a wobble, where we lost to Bristol City 5-1, which is not a highlight of the season. And that kind of set us off then. We had a few poor results after that. And then we got back on winning ways for a little bit, winning 3 on the bounce. And then it's just been a bit sporadic. But we are sitting 2nd in the championship, so we're doing all right. Leeds have got a bit of a march on us at 7 points clear. But it's Christmas and it's everything to play for. So we're going to get into the second half of the season, see where we can finish. Hopefully we can get automatic promotion into the Prem, because then we're hitting the big time. Okay, so we managed to finish 2nd, which I'm pretty pleased about, to be fair, because the main objective was we had to get back into the Prem. So we finished at 98 points, which was only a couple of points behind Leeds. And do you know what? We had the chance as well. We had the chance to get that championship, but you know, we just let it go at the end. Like you can see here, we lost 2-0 to Leeds back in April, which gutted about really, because that really gave us the opportunity. Really proud of our run in the FA Cup. We did eventually go out of the FA Cup in the semi-finals though, to Newcastle, which is pretty decent to be fair. I'm pretty pleased with that. Overall, a good season. Look, it's the first season. We didn't have much budget really, so I'll show you who we brought in January. So we brought in Finn Jelch. We brought him in the January window, and actually I'm pretty pleased with it. Good sign. He's only 19 years old, and if we have a look at the history there, you see we bought it for 1.5 million. Pretty pleased with that. I mean, he's already worth way more than that. He's already worth between 11.5 and 13, so a good deal, I think. Potentially Premier Division standard. He says he's a decent Sky Bet Championship player at the moment, but I think, you know, he's got a lot of potential. So we're going to pick this up at the beginning of season 2. We're just about to play Villa in the first game of the season. But let's just have a look at what we've managed to do. We started off with a transfer budget of around 20 million with the original budget. I spent some of it last year getting in some of these other players. So if we just go to the transfers, and I'll show you who we brought in at the end of last season. We've got Alex Jimenez for right back. Again, young Spaniard, 20. We got a good deal on this guy as well. We paid 4.3 for Jimenez, which I don't think is too bad. And if we look at him now, he says he's a good Sky Bet League 1 player. I think he's probably potentially a little bit better than that. Looking at his stats, I'm pretty pleased with him. I think he can do a good job. We also brought in Naipan. I'm surprised nobody's picked this lad up, but we got Naipan for 2.7 million. So he was nursing an injury when we found him, but he's already worth 25 to 29 mil, and everybody knows who Naipan is, right? We've got 2 good wonder kids there right from the beginning. Still only 18 years of age, lots and lots of time to progress, and he's already a decent Premier League player according to my coaches, so pretty pleased with that. So Dennis Sirkin, weirdly and annoyingly, was picked up by Tottenham for 6 mil. He had a buyback clause, and within that buyback clause, 40% of the profit went back to Tottenham, so they've virtually got him back for next to nothing. But they have loaned him back to me for a season, which I'm a bit gutted about actually, because he's 23. And as far as like fullbacks go, he's not so bad. I'm a bit gutted that I've lost him, but it is what it is, right? We'll just have to get on with it. But at least I've got him for this first season because I thought there might be better players interested in signing for me than there really is. Who else have we got? And that was it from the end of last season. So in this window at the end of last season, so if we just flick over to who else I've brought in for this season, we've got a couple of like backup keepers which I got on freeze. So we've got this Diego Calais. I don't know how you say that, but that's what I'm saying. Calais is okay. He's not the best, but he'll do for my backup, I think. You know, he's got a bit of potential. He's only 21, and if it don't work out, hopefully I can sell him for a little bit of a profit. That was the plan. We've got this other lad, Benjamin Golsh. I think he might secretly have more potential than the previous keeper. But again, this is another one of those that we've brought in. Well, hopefully we can turn a bit of a profit on him. I mean, he says he's worth 28 to 32 mil, so that kind of makes me think that the game thinks he's going to be a good keeper. So I'm going to try and give him some game time and see how he progresses. You never know, it might come on all right. We've got Julian Pauli. We've got this guy for free. To be honest, I just brought him in because he's got some decent physicals, right? He's got a good jumping reach of 15. He's got positioning, tackling, marking all 13, and heading a 14. So he's got some decent attributes for a centre back. Well, he was 19 when I signed him, and he's worth 5 to 5.6 mil now. Sent him out on loan at Plymouth. He's playing first team football there. So let's see how he progresses. Again, brought him in for free. Might be able to turn a bit of money on him. I found this guy for 36 grand. Again, this is just another one I'm just taking a bit of a punt on because he's got some decent defensive attributes. He's got like 14 tackling, 14 marking, 14 heading, 14 positioning, jumping reach 16, good determination. He's 18. He's going to go out on loan. He's not got a work permit, so we definitely need to get him out on loan. But again, for 36 grand, we can afford to take a punt on that. So hopefully he's going to go to one of these clubs here on loan. We will see. And then the big signing, the signing of the season is Simone Pafundi. Really pleased with this guy. You know, good pace, good, decent physicals, good flair, good determination. He's 19 and he's worth 62 mil, between 53 and 62 mil. And I've paid what? 8.75 going up to 10.5. I think that's a bit of a bargain. In terms of players going out, there's been quite a few. A lot of them are for free or on loan. We've not really managed to bring in that much money from the players, but Alan Brown had to go. He's 30 years of age, so youth to gold rule says he's got to go. So we managed to get 5 mil for him. Luke O'Neill, he was another one. He's 30, so he's got to go. And we managed to get 2.5 for him. And then there's a couple of like the lower sort of players from the under-21s and the reserves that have gone out. I was a bit gutted to lose this guy on a free. He wasn't that great, but you know, I feel like I could have got some money for him, but we lost him on a free in the end. He wouldn't sign a contract. And that's kind of about it, really. If we go and have a look at the overall squad, though, and see where we're at, we're probably a little bit overstacked is what I'm thinking at the minute, but we do have some players that we've still got to try and move on. We've still got this keeper who might as well be about 60 years old. I've put him down into the reserves just to get him out of the way because he's 35, right? And we need to get rid of this guy, but nobody's buying him. So his contract runs out end of this season. So it might be that we just have to, you know, let that like run down. But I feel like I've already broke the rules on youth to go because, you know, he's 35 and he's still in my team, but he ain't going to play. I'll tell you that, he's not going to play. No, well, even if the worst happens and all our keepers get injured, he ain't going to play because I'm not breaking them rules, right? So if we go back to the first team, we've got a couple of players back from loan that were out on loan last time, like this Timothy Pembele. Actually, I quite like the look of this guy. Let's see how he plays at right back for us, along with Jimenez. I think Jimenez will probably take the #1 spot. This Tri-Hume guy, he's proper fuming with me. He wants a new contract, right? And then when I go to offer him a new contract, he's saying no. He's requesting a transfer, he wants to go. And then we get some bids accepted for him and he's like, I'm not going. So he's not accepting any contracts. He's upsetting all my team as well. So like Chris Rigg, he's upsetting Chris Rigg. And man, I don't want anybody upsetting Chris Rigg. Check this guy, he has developed somewhat. He's 18, right? And he's looking pretty decent. There were some big teams interested in him as well, but we managed to tie him down onto a new contract, which is decent because he's just got a relegation release clause and he's got a minimum fee release clause for clubs in the Champions League, but he's 44 mil. And I think if somebody comes in and bids me 44 mil straight, I'm probably going to take that because I could do with the money. But you know what? It'd be nice to keep him as well. He's doing really well. 18 years old, lots of potential, I think. Junior Krupp is coming on nicely as well. His technique's gone up to 16, which is good to see. And we've managed to sort out the contract problem with this guy too. So we did have, if you remember, he had that minimum fee release clause of 16 odd million. We've got rid of that now. So he's gonna, he's staying really because it's a minimum fee release clause for clubs in the domestic high division. So as long as we don't get relegated this season, that release clause ain't never going to come back. And we ain't going to get relegated, right? It's just, not possible. We can't allow that to happen. But yeah, so the squad's in a decent place. So we'll see how this season goes. I've still got 17 million in my transfer funds. So you never know. Somebody might pop up as a regen come March or something. Or I might know one of those Brazilian ones that come around in sort of October, or those Argentinians. So maybe we might find the next Messi. Who knows? But we're going to head into the first game against Aston Villa and see if we can survive this first season. So guys, we're back here now, and it's only the 26th of August. We've played a couple of games. We've had a couple of good results, actually. So if we just have a quick scan over. But this isn't the real reason why we're here. We're here for another reason. But anyway, we lost to Villa 3-0. And then we had a 0-0 against Brighton, but then we smashed Everton 6-0. So really, really pleased with that. And we've made a couple more signings, which is why I'm back. So let's head over to the transfer centre and just have a little look. We've got Tyler Diblin in on loan. Pretty pleased with that. He scored a couple of goals on his debut. Happy days. So that's good. But this is the main thing. Check this out. We've got Yusufa Moukoko for 4.8 mil. I mean, that is a bargain. Look, he's not the finished article, nowhere near his, some of his attributes are not great. Like that concentration, those decisions. But he's a lot better than what I've got. And actually, as my second striker with Krupi, pretty decent, which now I might be able to go to a 4-2-4 potentially in the future. But really pleased with that. An absolute steal. We're 57 mil now. What a bargain. And to pay for that, we had a couple of transfers go out. So El Sidor went out for 5.75, so we got rid of this guy and brought in Moukoko. I mean, that is an upgrade, and it's like made us more money, so we've made some profit on that. And we also got rid of Jewison Benyete, who said he was going to leave at the end of his contract. I quite liked him because he had some pace, to be honest, but either way, he's still not great, so he's gone. And we managed to get in, what did we get for him? We got 4.6 going into 5.25, so literally I've swapped him for Moukoko. So whichever way you want to look at it, that is a steal. So really happy with that. Anyway, we're going to get back into the season now, and see how we get on. We'll probably touch back here around Christmas so we can have a little look to see what our youth intake might look like. So we are back and it's January the 1st. Happy New Year, everybody. And let's just see how we are getting on. So we're having a great season, I've got to say. We're sitting sixth in the league. We're currently on 30 points, which is joint with Crystal Palace. We're about 9 points away from Villa, who are sitting up in 5th, and we're about to play them actually today. That's today's fixture. But I thought it would be a good idea just to show you what's been going on. So there's been quite a lot going on since we last checked in. We've had a few more transfers, which we've kind of spoke about, but we also got in a couple of loans. So we've got Tyler Diblin in on loan, and he's actually been playing all right, to be fair. We've had to pay a little bit to do that loan, but been providing some good cover for us. But then we got in POS Posito on loan. It's a shame we can't get this guy in full time, because obviously those of you who play the game a lot know this guy is really good. Yeah, it's just not interested in coming full time. I mean, I can afford him. I reckon I could get him for about 10 mil, but he's just not interested. He won't have it. He's happy on loan, and that is about it. So yeah, so we did those deals. So actually a good window overall. 19 million made in transfers going out, and we've only spent 17. So we're good. We're living the dream, really. But let's just have a look at where we're up to with the squad. We can see that in terms of goals, obviously Krupi is our main man. He's got 10 out of 19. And then Esposito has hardly played really, 6 and a few sub appearances, but he's got 7 goals. I think we're probably going to start starting that guy for the rest of this season, especially now that Krupi's got a bit of an injury. Overall, I'm pretty happy with where we've got to this season because of where we're sat in the league. We've got money though. We've got a fair bit of money now. So we've got 84 million to spend at this point. It is January. We might go into the market. I think there might be a couple of outgoings. We'll see what becomes available, because there's no point just going and rinsing that. And when I look at my youth intake, it's not looking great. This is what we can see ahead of it, but we've got a striker who could be considered a fine prospect. So let's see what he looks like when he gets in. But the rest of it doesn't look great, does it? Not very happy with that. So overall, things are going well. So let's just have a look at the club info. A+. Ta-da! Obviously, we're signing young players, so we're hitting that metric. We're playing pressing football for sure. We're developing using the youth system. We are playing attacking football where we can. We're not necessarily playing direct, we're playing a bit more mixed, and we are making the most of set pieces because we do play for those and try and make something out of them. But, you know, we've done all right. I think we're probably going to avoid relegation, which is all I really wanted to do, to be honest. So, very happy with this. I think we're going to finish the end of this season and see where we're at, because the ultimate aim is getting that Champions League spot. I think what we'll do is we'll fast forward now to the end of the window and let's see if we can get in any new players and see if we've got some outgoings, because we've got quite a few people wanted. I need to get rid of this guy. He's been doing my head in, this Tri-Hume. Like, you know, my assistant keeps playing him. He's like played 6 times, but like, he's got to go, man. He's just causing loads of problems. And then we will see what we can do. But pretty pleased. Look, I think we're going to do this in the next few seasons, so we might just make this into a 3-parter. So yeah, let's see what happens at the end of the window and see if we can bring in any quality. So yeah, I'll check back in a minute. And we didn't sign anybody because obviously we can't sign more than 6 people that are British in any one season. So that kind of restricted us a little bit. So we didn't bring anybody in, and we probably missed out on a couple of targets that I could have got for cheap as well, including Seaman, the goalkeeper. But anyway, is what it is. We'll move on. We're doing pretty well in the league. We're now up to 6th. We're sitting on 36 points, which is only 1 ahead of Brentford. But we do have a game in hand over them, so we've got opportunity there. We're probably not going to catch Villa for 5th, but if we get European football first season up, that'll be banging, because that just opens up way more for us, doesn't it? We can get to this Champions League win a hell of a lot quicker. We're going to move on now to intake day, because obviously I'm excited to see this striker that they're talking to me about. So I will see you in youth intake day. Let's go play some games, and I'll see you in a minute. This striker that they were on about, I can't even see this guy, man. I don't even know what they're talking about. We've got a centre-back. What's this about? We've got this Chris Edwards. I mean, to be fair, a 15-year-old doesn't look bad. 15 tackling, teamwork's good, good heading, jumping reach ain't great, but he's still only young, he's fast, he's got good natural fitness, brave. Yeah, I mean, I've got some fairly high hopes for this guy, so let's get him on a contract as quick as we can. Let's just get that boxed off. That all looks fine. Job done. Who's this guy? Daniel Hawkes. 3 stars. I mean, decent mentals. Got a bit of physicals about him. He might not be too bad. I've definitely seen worse. I think we'll just offer this lad a contract as well. Let's get that in the bag. Who else we got? Good talents. Don't know about that. Not sure about these ones. But I don't know where this striker is that they're on about. I'm a bit like, what's that? Where's he gone? So that's a bit of a shame, really. Let's just go to the dev centre and just make sure I'm not missing anything. But no, we're not missing anything. A below average intake. So at first look, this unfortunately appears to be a disappointing group of players. But yeah, that's not really what I was looking for. But at least we've got this guy. You know, he might have something about him, might he? We will see what happens with him over the next couple of years. So status in the league right now, we are 7th. So we've got a game in hand. If we can win that, we've got a chance of getting 6th. It'd be really nice to finish 6th, but you know, I'd like to get Europa League. Let's see what happens. We're just about to play the quarter-final against Liverpool, so we'll probably touch back in at the end of the season and see how we've done. Okay guys, so we are back and it's the end of the season and we've done all right. I've got to say, I'm pretty pleased. Let's check this out. We have finished 5th. First time we're up. Just been promoted and we've got in to the Europa. So I'm pretty happy with that. Automatic qualification as well. Pretty good season all round. If we have a look at where we progressed with the main cups and stuff. So if you have a look at the FA Cup, we did all right. We got to the quarterfinals and we lost only on pens to Liverpool. So pretty decent. Would have been nice to go a bit further, but I'm fairly happy with that. We had a great run in the Carabao Cup and we got all the way to the final. As soon as we saw it was City, I knew our days were numbered. But I mean, these guys just threw in some terrible performance. Like Ekwa pulled in a 5.9 and Profundi as well, which was a bit disappointing. Ultimately, we did not win that trophy, and against City, I can deal with that. So yeah, overall though, Not a bad run, not a bad run. So we go back to the squad. Everybody's buzzing, obviously, which is great. And I think we're going to have to do a few bits of wheeling and dealing this season. We've got to move a few people on. So if we just go to the ages, I think we are all right in terms of age. The keeper that we couldn't sell, he's actually retiring, so that's good. And he's off the books. Patrick Roberts will be the next to be sold. And to be honest, he's not getting a game now, so he needs to go. We might as well get the money in for him. I don't know if anybody wants him at the moment. No, they don't. But we will be moving him on. In terms of transfers coming in, we are working on trying to get a new keeper. So it has become available. So let's see if we can get him in, but we're going for Dennis Seaman. Hopefully we can get this guy in. You know, he's one of the well-known wonder kids for keepers. He's interested now, so that's something. We're getting him for potentially 8 mil, just waiting on a work permit. Hopefully he will be coming in. In terms of finances though, we've got 102 mil to spend, which is proper buzzing, but the wage budget's pretty low. We've got 1 million. So I think what might happen is once we get to the transfer window, I might just switch it around. So LSA has got, you know, a Saudi club after him. If they bring in some dough for him, I might sell him, but he's not bad, you know, he's not bad. He's developed okay, and potentially, you know, he's 6'4". He's a bit of a beast. I never really play him at centre-back. I always play him at full-back. He's got a bit of pace. His physicals are decent. He's got some decent leadership. His off the ball's not so good, but do you know what? He ain't bad. And if I found somebody who was like awesome, he could be my second, but he's all right. So I don't necessarily want to lose him. I did have to make him a promise though, because obviously he was kicking off when the Saudi clubs come in, because they pay him all the money, don't they? But he wanted to go. So I said, look, if they come in with 31 mil, you can go. If we get 31 mil for him, I don't know if I can replace him for that. We'll see. This guy's going to be going on a free. I've set him for release. I can't imagine any of these guys bidding for him. It'd be good if they did, but I doubt it. We are losing Dennis Sirkin now because his loan is going, so he's my first choice left back. So, I mean, Alessia is not as good as him. I'm working on a transfer and bringing somebody in. I'll show you them in a second. Ekwa, this guy's got to go. He's been causing me bare problems all the time. So he's wanted by a few clubs, which is good because he needs to go. He started kicking off about football. I give him a bit of football. He played rubbish, and then obviously I'm not going to play him anymore. But he is properly kicking off. I mean, he's all right. He's all right. He's not the best in the world or anything like that. It'd be a shame because, you know, he played a few games, but not loads. He played 6 times in the Premier League. It'd be a shame to lose him, but it is what it is. According to my coaches, he's only a Sky Bet Championship player anyway, so we're going to let him go. If we get some money for him, happy days. So, let's have a look at the transfers that I'm working on. So we are working on this guy. Tried to get him a minute ago, got the bid accepted, and his contract was just crazy. He's asking for silly money. I said I wasn't doing it. His agent's like, well, okay, we're not coming. So I've gone back in again, and we're going to see if we can maybe try again. But you know what these agents are like. We will see. That's it, really. We've got this guy that I signed ages ago. I only signed him on a free because I thought I might make some money out of him, but he's actually not developed in any of that time. I found him when he was 14. I thought he might have developed a bit more than that by now, but he's not really. So that might just be a bit of an error. So we will see. Let's catch up again on the 1st of July. And see where we are up to. But great season last season, and I'm looking forward to our European adventure. Okay, so we're here. It's 1st of July, and my squad has depleted a little. So we've made some transfers. I'll show you what we've done. Try Hume went eventually. At last, got that guy out of the club, and we've got rid of that Pierre Ekwa because he was obviously kicking off as well. And towards the end of last season, we got rid of Patrick Roberts. We got 13.75 mil for him. It's a pretty good deal. So overall, we've had a few outs. And in terms of ins, we've brought in Derek Seaman, a couple of these like players that don't have work permits and stuff, because I just feel like I can turn a profit on them. You know, why not? And we've got our man, we've got our fullback. So we've got this guy. I like him. He's 20. His determination is 15, so we might be able to get that to a 16. He's got some reasonable sort of stuff. So he's got like, you know, 12s and 13s for dribbling and crossing. He's got all the kind of stuff that you want to see. And I think he's going to develop quite well. He's only 20. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. And for 3.3 mil, I mean, you literally can't complain. So, Really happy with that. We brought in, obviously, Dennis Seaman, which we talked about before. He came in as a backup keeper as well, which is decent, so there's no pressure to play him, but he's obviously going to be first choice soon. Really happy with that. We've brought in Palprim. We've got him cheaper as well, so we've got him on a pretty good deal from Barca. He's just going to come in and just fill in that role for Pierre Equa and just sit in that midfield bit. Just more of a squad player really. But again, he's 20, so determination 15, passing 15, vision 15, natural fitness 15. They can all probably go up to 16. I quite like this lad. I think he could do well. And then this is another person that we've got without a work permit. I should probably stop doing this. He's probably going to end up biting me on the backside, and I won't be able to get rid of him. But his stats look quite good, and I thought, well, if we can get him in and try and get something out of him, maybe try and get a work permit, maybe try and get him a loan somewhere in Europe. I don't know, but that could be pretty good. And you know, he's only 5'8", but those attributes aren't bad at all. So I feel like we might be able to do something with that. Yeah, so you know, he's decent. He's decent. Let's see what we can do. In terms of the squad, then, how are we going to play it this season? So keepers, obviously, we've got Dennis Seaman and we've got Anthony Patterson. So they're fine. You know, he wants to be number one. He wants to be backup. Happy days. No problems in that department, I don't think. Okay, left back, we've got obviously Alessa, the main guy that we've got left because we've lost Sirkin over to Tottenham. So we've got this guy. He's obviously going to be fighting with Borza to get that fullback position. So that'll be good to see how that goes. Obviously, really different players, but we'll see how that pans out. So we're kind of covered on the left back, and then on right back, we've got Pimbele. So we've still got him kicking around. He's pretty decent. And we've got the main man, Alex Jimenez. So he's developing really well, actually. Really pleased with this guy. So that's my right back sorted. Centre back is where it's looking a bit weak. You know, there's not really a great deal out there for me either. Daniel Ballard is not signing a contract. His contract runs out end of this season. And I don't want this guy to leave, man. He's my captain. Do you know what I mean? It's like, he's good, yeah. Resolute personality. He's my main guy, he's my captain, he's probably my best defender. He's certainly got the best attributes. And just when we go to try offer a contract, there's just nothing. And at contract negotiations, he just don't want to know. And that worries me a bit. So we'll see how that pans out. And then obviously we've got Finn Jelch. He's still kicking around. He's developed a little bit, but he's not elite, is he? He's not elite. So I'm a bit concerned that he's not going to be good enough, really, especially now we're in Champions League, which I didn't say before, because actually we managed to get in, finishing 5th, got us in the Champions League, so I'm properly buzzing with that, because that means that reputation's going up, money's going to go up, and we've got a shot of winning it, right? It's not going to happen, but we've got a shot of winning it, and it'll help these players develop even more as well, because they're playing those more important matches. Again, at centre-back then, it's looking pretty dry. We've got Jensen Seal still, and he's not good enough, man. He's not even played it. He's barely played any games, so he's going to have to probably go. And then we've got Hjelde, again, barely plays, not good enough. There's no centre-backs out there that are crying out to me that I can buy, that are 20 or under. We had a chance at getting Lenny Yoro, but his wages were just insane. I can't afford it. So centre-backs a bit of an issue. Then in terms of defensive midfield, we've got a few people that can interchange in there. But I think, Dan Neal's going to be my main man. He's the guy who played there most of last season. He's the guy who's going to play there most of the time. So he's my first choice. And then we've got Palprim in as my second choice. Hopefully he can develop a little bit as well and maybe start giving some real competition to Dan Neal. So those two are pretty happy with it. And we've got people that can fill in there as well, like Joe Bellingham can fit in there. Finn Jelch can fill in there too. And then in terms of those two central midfield spots, this is where the competition's like massive, because we've got Nipan, however we want to say that. We've got Chris Rigg, we've got Joe Bellingham. They're like the main three. This Ayuchi. Anyway, this guy, he barely plays, so he's probably not going to get in. Abdullah Bar, again, he's not playing loads. So really, we've got Nipan, we've got Chris Rigg, Joe Bellingham, and then we've got these guys that are sort of kicking around it, but that's fine, we can do something with that, right? Chris Rigg, by the way, look at this guy, 19 years old, he's coming on really well, really happy with this lad. I'm really scared I'm going to lose him at some point to one of the big clubs coming in, especially now I'm in the Champions League. I might start receiving some big bids and not be able to keep everyone happy. And then midfield left, Obviously, we've been training Makoko to play over there, so he's accomplished. So we've got that as a backup. We've got Naipan and we've got Abdullah Bar, so we could do with a left winger. So far, we've got centre-backs are a problem and left wings a problem. So we need to get into the market and look for something around those positions. When it comes to the right side, obviously we've got a man like Pafundi, and then Makoko, who's probably going to be the one filling in, but you know, we're a bit light up top as well. So we flick that to the attackers and you'll see what I'm saying. So when we get up top, then we've got Krupi, obviously the main dude anyway up top, and we've got Pafundi, who could do that, but he's my main right wing. And then we've got Makoko, who's going to be covering the other side. So we're a little bit light up top as well. So priority positions that we need to try and find are maybe a centre-back, a left winger, and a striker. We might have to dip into the loan market. We'll see what's out there and see what we can find. But looking forward to this season. This is going to be really good. I'll check in with you at the end of the window and let you know who we've found. Right then, guys, we are back and it's the 16th of August. Left it a couple of weeks because I've been working on a lot of transfers. A lot of transfers. Right, so we needed a striker, we needed a winger, and we needed a centre-back, or maybe two. We didn't get all of that. But what we did do was this. We have got Giovanni Quenda, which I'm properly buzzing about, apart from this con here, consistency. Needs to become more consistent. Let's see what we can do with that. Maybe we might be able to do something with some tutoring potentially. But overall, I got him for an absolute steal. So if we have a look, I got him for 8.75, going up to 14. I mean, I'm like a transfer guru, getting these guys bare cheap. So really happy with that. For centre back, we managed to get Lenny Euro, but we couldn't get him in on a transfer because his wages were too much, right? But we did manage to get him in on a loan, which is costing me 2 mil. But I was desperate for a centre back. Lenny Euro is decent. I don't know, maybe we might be able to buy him later on. You know what it is with the wages, right? He's at Junior Krupi. He's got a clause in his contract, which means he's got to match the highest earner. And I missed it when we did the contract renewal. And yeah, I'm regretting that now. So this guy wanted like 100 odd grand or something. And I'm like, I don't want to pay Krupi that. So yeah, it's tough. But look, we've got him this season. Let's see how it pans out. Hopefully we do well in Champions League and it might open up a few better centre-backs for us for next season. But anyway, that's who we got. Also, for the wing position, we got Echeverry from City on loan, which again, really buzzing with that. There was no way this guy was coming permanent, but you know, it says here that he can play up front, which can help us out in terms of the striker stuff. He's got him in there as an attacking midfield. I don't really play that position, so I'm going to be playing him on the wing. Good signing. It's going to cost me some money. It's going to cost me 3 mil, really. But look, I've got plenty of money in the bank. We brought in like a load of other people, but just kids. We got Pal Prim, which we talked about before, I believe. But we have got Reagan Lindsay. We brought him in from Plymouth, 17 years old. He's got a little bit of something about him. I paid 300 grand for him, going up to 1.3. If he realises that we ended up paying the 1.3, then he's done all right. So decent deal, I think. We got Luke Warrington. High hopes for this lad, to be fair. He's 15 years old. He's got finishing of 14. He's got determination 14, flair 14, work rate 14, 15 technique. He's got a bit of pace about him, decent agility and balance. I've got really high hopes for this lad. I think that he could be our striker of the future. I paid York 300k for him. This could be the steal of the century. Let's see how that pans out over the next couple of seasons. We brought in Andrew Jones. I had to pay a little bit more than I was that comfortable with for this guy, but only if he like realizes his potential, because it goes up to 2.6. So we paid 235 for Andrew Jones. But again, some decent attributes there. So we'll see how that goes. Who else did we bring in? We brought in Alex Hayward from Chesterfield for 120 grand in right back position. Again, not a bad little player. We'll see how he develops. Hopefully we can turn a profit. So that is the transfer activity done. So if you have a look at my activity in the transfer market, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. So, players bought 21, right? We bought 21 players, which just feels like a lot, for 69 million. We've sold 15 for 70 million. So I've got a negative £1 million spend across the time of being at this club, and I've taken them from the Championship to the Champions League and spent nothing, ultimately. So what has that done for the starting lineup? Well, this is where I think we're going to go. So we're going to start off with Seaman in goal. He's probably, well, he is definitely going to be fighting it out with Patterson for that #1 spot. So we'll see how that pans out. Jimenez and Pimbele, do you know what? I'd play either of those two, so I feel like I'm totally covered on right back. Left back, we've got Borza, and obviously we've got Alessia who can go in there too. And then we've got Ballard and Yoro as a first choice. So that does mean that if we're really, really stuck, we can use Alessia as centre-back because, you know, he can play there. Jelch now is probably going to play a second fiddle to Yoro this season, I think. And obviously we've got Julian Powley. And obviously we've got Julian Powley down here on the bench. He might make a few appearances, maybe in the cups and stuff. Let's say, I don't know, man. I don't know if this guy's going to develop much more, but at least his like basics are there, so he can do a job for us. So that's cool. And then a ball-winning midfielder, we've got Neil, followed up with Pal Prim. He's going to be second choice in there. Then we've got Chris Rigg and Nipan as my #1 choice in central midfield. The kids, as it were. I mean, Riggs what, 18 now? Oh no, Riggs 19 now. And Nipan is also 19. So hopefully we can have these two guys for the next 10 years at least, just playing together, and it'll just be hopefully the best thing ever. We will see. And then anyway, on the left wing we've got Kenda, and then on the right wing we've got Profundi, and then Krupi up top. So that for me feels like that's probably my first team. So we're gonna head into this season and see how we do in the Champions League. Obviously this challenge ends when I get Sunderland to the Champions League final. So catch me in the next episode to see how we've done with that. So look, anyway, I'm going to get out of here. If you want to watch some of my other videos, I'll stick them here. See you in a bit.